Today at the Fort Kent Public Library, we have a special guest, Charles Zafante. He is well known in town, has helped many people, is the spouse to one of the finest piano players in northern Maine, and is a musician of note himself. And he is going to be talking to us about some crafting projects that he's been doing where he is creating 3-string guitars. And I suspect that we will also hear some music.
Right.
All right.
Well, thank you, Andrew. I don't think I can live up to those specifications, but in my own way, what I've done is taken old cigar boxes that I had laying around and turned them into musical instruments, slide guitars, in this case. And depending, of course, on the size of the box, it'll be resonant, loud or softer. Obviously, the larger box is going to be a little bit louder, and of course, you need the sound holes. What I've done is stuck a piezoelectric pickup on there that I was able to get from Japan for like $2, which is or China, I should say, which is unbelievable because it sounds good. And this is the bridge. These are called bridge saddles. You can adjust the height of the strings if you need to. I have these set up for slide. If the neck were tilted on this one, I can show you better. On this one, this little screw here you can take out, and if you bend the neck backwards and do the screw, then you can actually play it like a regular guitar because the strings won't be so far off the frets. So to have a slide guitar, you want the strings far off the frets so that you don't get clatter as the slide drags over the frets. In this box, I put springs strung loosely around the inside, and it actually creates a reverb, a slight reverb effect. I've also put a nice little decorative finial on the back. This one here is a Whitman sampler cigar box. Whitman sampler cigar box that I'm turning into an electric guitar, probably a slide, and I'll show you the inside of it, which is I've shielded it with copper tape to keep any humming away from the pickup. It actually acts as a barrier to any electrical impulses that could make buzzing or humming through the pickup. The neck will eventually go through a slot in here. I don't know if you can see the slot, but there's a slot, and this will have to be trimmed to a certain length. The distance from the 1st fret to the 12th fret has to be exactly the same distance as the 12th fret to the saddle, the bridge saddle. In other words, where the strings make contact. And it's exactly 12.5 inches. So once I get this all settled, I'll measure 12.5 inches from the 12th fret, and that's where I'm going to mount the bridge. And of course, the inside of the box is going to be all reinforced with scrap hardwood flooring that I had laying around. So.
It's got to be reinforced with scrap hardwood flooring.
Yeah, which is
that's
well, it's
clever
good.
Recycling there.
Yeah. So it's a great way to use up scraps and stuff you have laying around. These are just pieces off an old guitar amplifier that was defunct, and I attached it. You can buy everything but the cigar boxes and some of the other parts. You can buy most of them from an outfit called CB Gitty. That's CB and then GITTY, and they specialize in cigar box guitar parts. So you can go on there if you actually are crazy enough to be interested in this. One of the beauties of it is it's easy to play. You don't have to have any prior guitar skills. All you have to do is learn to control your hand a little bit. So once you figure out where the resonant frequencies are, I'll play this one first dry without the amplifier. So to play it slide, and before I do that, I want to show you the different types of slides that are available in case you decide to really get into it. They all sound slightly differently, especially when electrified. This is a standard glass slide. That's a brass one. That's a steel one. These are shove slides. These are more for pedal steel guitars. I have a steel guitar at home, and you can see they're hefty and weighted. And they all have a different slight resonant frequency on how they react with the strings.
And do these slides go inside of a slide, or?
No, they are the slide themselves.
Huh.
And I had a cymbal pick here somewhere. Oh, right here. Picks are also have an impact on the sound. So this is called a symbolic pick. It's actually been cut from a drum cymbal, a drum kit cymbal, or you could just use a standard pick, depending on what sound you want. The differences are very subtle. You're not going to hear drastic differences. So I'll play it dry without the pig nose. Well, I rolled and I tumbled, I cried the whole night long. Well, I rolled and I tumbled, I cried the whole night long. Well, I told my baby, don't let them burn that barrel house down. There's more verses to it, but you get the general idea. There's also different musicians that have done slide work, of course, on regular electric six strings, and that's a lot more versatile. So I can only do kind of limited versions because I only have 3 strings to work with. Plus, I'm playing all 3 strings at the same time, rather than if I were fretting the guitar, I could play individual notes and do a lot more stuff. But you can still work around the limitations of 3 strings by various picking techniques. I'm going back to Dallas, take my razor and my gun. Well, I'm going back to Dallas, take my razor and my gun. Well, there's a whole lot of people looking for trouble there. Oh, I sure gonna give them some. Johnny Winter did a lot of slide. Here's the other one. I'll play. Well, actually, I'll play this one a little bit electric, just to give you a sense of what it sounds like.
And you'll have to give us a tune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, give us a song.
Okay. Well, I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Well, I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Well, it's hard to tell when all your love's in vain. That's part of Love in Vain. And I'll show you the soprano one. You can put different diameter strings on these puppies, and that'll, of course, change the whole operating parameters. So this one is set up right now more or less as a soprano, and I could put heavier strings on it, different strings, and there's also dozens of tunings on how you can tune these 3 strings. This one is tuned totally different than the other one. So that's how that one's tuned. That's a chord.
Is this a DAD?
This is EBE, I think. I forget how we tuned it this morning, but so it's up on the higher frets. It sounds a little more like it's screaming. Here, plug it in to get the full effect.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I just didn't want to walk in front of them.
So you can hear that this one's higher pitched, Again, it's a soprano. This is the one with the little reverb springs in it. I don't know if you can really hear those through the amp so much, but. So it's a little tinny because the strings are, again, thinner diameter.
You
But
can definitely hear that reverb though.
Oh, you good? Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad the reverb came through. So you can see how all these parameters are adjustable. You can adjust the string height. You can adjust for the intonation. This changes the distance of the strings to the 12th fret so that you get the intonation right. So the note should sound exactly the same, open and at the 12th fret. Oops. Oh, this one needs to be adjusted. That needs to be adjusted. Well, they both need to be adjusted, but it sounds okay because the beauty of a slide is precision isn't necessarily required as long as you're close. If you're off by too much, it sounds really funky and awful, but as long as you get an idea of where your slide's going to wind up and you put a little vibrato in it. But if you're off by a little bit, it sounds awful.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can be off a little bit. It adds a little bit of interest, but not where you get those sour notes. So I'll go back to the other one real quick.
I'm going to give you a warning here. I'm going to ask to play one here in just a bit.
Well, actually, why don't you do that? Because I don't have that much more. I mean, it's a simple process. Once you get the hang of it.
All right.
Your choice of slides, sir. Choose your weapon. Choose your pick.
I will go for that one there, and I'll go for a plastic pick
There we go.
or a nylon pick here.
How you doing?
Give this a try.
Nice to see you.
Okay. And so,
All right. So get a little pattern going here. Just a rough idea what to do here. I'm sure you'll figure it out. So if you just get a little pattern like. Yeah, use your pick. Yeah, idea. So be a little more violent.
a little bit more violent.
Yeah, man, give it some elbow grease.
So show me. Give me a demonstration of violent picking.
Dig right into it.
Yeah.
The idea of it. You work with that long enough and you'll be playing like a pro. Just remember that the blues, the basis of the blues is called 1-4-5. If you took the scale do re mi fa sol la ti do, take the first note, the fourth note, and the fifth note. That's always the blues. 1-4-5. And it doesn't matter where you start. If you start on E, you do the same relationship from C to F. From E would be A. So the 1-4-5 in E would be E, A, and B. 1-4-5 in C is C, F, and G. And once you figure out, here's your 1, here's your 4.
So that's the 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I would know.
There's your 5.
And so if this were
This is for going. So you go. Hang on, Snoopy, hang on. It's a
Oh my goodness,
145.
it's just a 145.
And there's hundreds and hundreds of songs with that basis.
So when you're playing this, like if this were my 1, then my 4 would be here, or would it be here? So if this is 1, it's not 2, 3, 4. It's 1.
Yeah, you don't count frets. It doesn't necessarily go by frets.
Oh, I see.
1, 2, 3. See, here's your 4th fret, but here's your 4. 1 is always your open, and then sing "Hang On Sloopy" in your head. Hang on, Sloopy, Sloopy, hang. I mean, that's the simplest song I can think of to get that down. There you go.
Yeah, I see that. Yes.
It's an awful song, but
That's it. I think
demo.
that there's going to be lots of fans of Hang On Sloopy.
well, I didn't mean to insult anybody. My sincerest apologies.
Yeah.
But it's the basis of the 145 blues that has been. It's been since probably the turn of the century or earlier. I think it all actually started with a lot of black slaves singing back in the mid 1800s.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit on when you do these. How much time does it take you to go from this? You know, when you have the parts together, where you have your cigar box, you have your neck, you have all the pieces. What does it take to create one of these?
It's hard to estimate because what I do is just chip away when the mood strikes me, and that's the best way to do it. I mean, no use doing it when you're really not in the mood to do it because you'll screw up things and just blah blah blah. But every now and then, it's how that feeling comes over you where suddenly, oh, I got to get to those dishes in the sink or whatever it is. Well, this is a lot more fun than washing dishes. So once the bug bites you, then you get into it. I would say if you have all the parts, a day.
Oh
day's
my
work.
goodness! My goodness!
If you have all your tools and all your parts, your thing to drill the hole here, your inlays, your everything, you could do it in a day. You'd have to be concentrating on it though.
Now, when you do this, and I can see people asking, is that these cigar boxes and like the Whitman's box that you have over there, they're not real sturdy. And so, how is it then? And again, I think I know what the answer is, but how is it that the top of this box is not being torn off?
Right, that's a good question, and I'll just to demonstrate, I'll give you an idea of something that's not reinforced and what's going to happen to it. What's going to happen to this, which is what already happened to those, is
I can hold this.
okay. This inner part's going to be all reinforced with glued and clamped on hardwood flooring that I had scraps of. And I mean, it looks pretty too, but it's not going to be seen. And then there'll be maybe a piece here. And what the bridge is going to do, this I'm going to be raising up so it's out of the way. See, this pickup is adjustable. I'm going to be raising that up. The bridge is going to come through right here, and there's going to be a piece of hardwood here, and it's going to be screwed from the back right into it. The bridge is going to screw right onto the neck part that's sticking out. So that'll be plenty strong to keep, because this is just cedar.
Right,
Spanish
and
cedar,
so it's going to
this
be
is just cardboard.
the neck is holding the most tension on these, and so this is going to be bolted through the top here and down into the
neck.
into the neck that's extended in there.
Exactly, and it also, you have the screws going in there, which helps the resonance because you're playing the neck. Everything is kind of connected, so everything's kind of vibrating. So you're going to get more volume and tone that way.
And there's not a tension rod or anything that's running in these. These are
Nope.
because you're only using 3 strings.
Yeah, there's not nearly as much tension on these as on a regular 6-string because of the lack of strings, and plus I'm using on this one especially really super thin gauge strings that don't put a tremendous amount of tension. And you can pick your format. I mean, I went with stainless steel on these two. I went with gold plated on this one. Only reason I went with gold plated, I had these brass hinges laying around and I wanted to match them. We got a little carry handle on. Anyway,
I know, it's got a little carry handle.
yeah, I had it laying around. Hey, I got to use it, So anyway, I got more in the works here, and if you're actually interested, you can private message me on Facebook and whatever. I'm easy to find. I'm the only one with that name in 5,000 miles. So.
That's it. That's true.
So if you really are interested,
I'm totally going to make one of these.
In getting more information, I can respond to messages. But the primary thing is go look at CB Giddy on website, and also check out YouTube 3-string shovel guitars, because you'll see a guy playing a guitar he made out of a shovel, and he really wails on it. It's amazing. All right, so I mean, unless there's any other questions,
Well, I'm going to make I want to, because we are being recorded here, I've got to tell you, I'm so grateful that you took some time.
Well, I really appreciate your interest and enthusiasm.
It's amazing, and I'm glad that you were able to bring it to the library here. And folks, if you get a chance, you need to come by to the Fort Kent Public Library and see some of the things that we have, and we will be having more presentations of just the interesting things that we run across in the St. John Valley.
This library is a gem for Fort Kent. Please don't ignore it. You'll enrich your life and the people around you too. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. On the day I was born, the nurses all gathered round, and they gazed in wide wonder at the joy they had found. The head nurse spoke up, said, "Leave this one alone." She could tell right away I was bad to the bone, bad to the bone, bad to the bone, bad to the bone. I broke 1,000 hearts before I met you. Break 1,000 more, baby, before I'm through. I want to be yours, pretty baby, and yours alone. I'm here to tell you, honey, that I'm bad to the bone.
I mean, it's pretty repetitious, but it's awesome. It's awesome.